Hi, good day. Wonder what the Graven's up to. He's looking for some help.
Always open for business when the... road is your marketplace. If you need another trade, then come and see Bernard.
The shadows precede you.
I can feel a change in the air. The taint of the Naka curse is rapidly dissipating. A shame it was caused by one of the Sealy's own. The Circle and I will take our leave. A small number of Naka will undoubtedly remain. We will reclaim our brethren and defeat what Naka are left. Thanks to you, perhaps Alcerund will recover from the Naka after all. We have waited long for a champion to return. We wait.
Something, isn't it? Looks like I'm in luck. Didn't expect to see so heavily armed an adventurer wandering into our camp. Are you interested in a job? I've got a fey beast situation I need taken care of. Excellent. A pack of wild fey have holed up at the canyon hill site at the top of the ledge. I've already dispatched a scholar to investigate. but he hasn't returned. You'll find him near the road towards the mine. I'll have more information for you there, but it isn't useful for much else. The coward refuses to go near the Fae. Get to the site and figure out why those blasted things have come out of the mine, and then get rid of them. Speak to the scholar when the deed is done. He'll pay you. Oh, where are my manners? Foreman Vire at your service. This here is Motus Mining's latest outfit, and my care and charge. They were our biggest competition. Then they discovered this site, actually. When we caught wind of it, we made sure to get up here with a bag of gold for each of his workers. So they promised to work for us instead, of course. Work like a charm. Poor Edgar had never found a way to recover from that. There's no one else to run his mine. He probably couldn't find the money to pay them even if he found new staff. If I sound proud of us, it's 'cause I am. It was a big victory for Motus. I've seen some strange things. Flickers and flashes from the top of that mountain. No idea what causes it, and I don't want none. We've got our hands full down here as it is. I've received reports of strange happenings in those caverns. Some of the workers claimed they saw horrifically scarred men wandering near Saltwell mouth. He's a weak-eyed, knock-kneed, biscuit-biting excuse for a scholar. But he's the one I've got, so that's that. If it weren't for the beast lurking at our doorstep every day, I'd find this place quaint. As it is, I can barely retain my sanity. Capstan Odvar runs an inn and serves as our chief of security. A forsaken, wretched wasteland with more beasts than grains of sand. Still, by the domes of Odessa, I'll not see this venture fail. Our scholar, Enser, ought to be at the canyon hillside, getting to the bottom of this damn hold-up. He ought to be back already, telling me how he fixed it. If you do see him, give him a kick for me and tell him to get on with it. We've got miners just standing around not mining. Good day.
Name's Alex. Alex Anatole. Let me know if you've got any equipment that needs repairing. I'll get it back to you as good as new. Paying for adequate repairs will save your skin.
Oh, I'm in a terrible bind. I don't dare go forward, and I certainly can't go back. Mind you, I wouldn't go up that eastern ledge. It's most unsafe. Oh yes, our stalwart foreman. He sent you after me, I suppose. It's a place of mystery and intrigue. No one knows what lurks at the top, though everyone's got a guess. Scholar of mineralogy, Motus Mining, and unwitting adventurer. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, I'm sure. Yes. Well, no. I got 10 paces up the slope when I spotted those Fae. What's a scholar to do against hordes of vicious beasts? One of those boggarts, it shook its fist at me. Odessa could not have been built without the Motus mining interest.
I've heard tales of terrifyingly scarred men appearing at the entrance of the caverns from time to time. I don't care why they're there, I just don't want them anywhere near me.
Yes, and find out what's wrong. Now that I've found it, and have no desire to investigate further.
There were boggarts, lots of boggarts. And I think I saw a thresh. I was rather too busy running to note the particulars. Well, if you were willing to go first, I would have no objection to trailing behind at a safe distance.
To the Canyon Hill site at the top of the ledge, where a cadre of Fae awaits to rip us to shreds, no doubt. Lead the way. Up the slope we go. There they are. Dispatch them before they attack. I see something at the end of the trail.
Another, come to steal the light, come to trouble the reverie. I long to return to the reverie. While Calavar walks the sands, I must sleep. He and I are two, where there once were many. We lived then wild on dune and crag. Now he watches the waking day, and I tend to the dreaming murmurs of the stone. When I became aware the light was gone, the shell of the reverie cracked, and my dream self wandered free. Long, long ago, I wandered lost in the dark of night. I cried a pool into a rocky basin, and starlight gathered there. I fashioned this into a jewel, and by its light found my way home. Is it any wonder that I hold it so dear? They are my friends, drawn here as I drift between the dream world and the world of the waking. The light, source of solace, snuck in, sharp knives, soft feet, stole the jewel from my side, took it northward, through the narrow rocks, to their village of wood and cloth.
Look, down there. Ah, it begins to make sense now. It's beginning to make sense. This Fey maiden is real, but I believe we're speaking to a projection of her as she dreams. There is a Fey hollow under this mine, where I'll wager she sleeps. And these other Fey, they're drawn to the power of this projection. Restoring to her this light she speaks of might calm things down. Find me at the Motus mining office when you return it to her. I'll make sure you're duly compensated. No, I feel quite certain. The maiden we see here is a projection of her dream self, as she calls it. The real Fae's asleep, somewhere in the hollow below us, I'll wager. And these other wild Fae are drawn to the power she exudes while in this form. Most likely return what was stolen to the Fae made within the hollow. That is how these things tend to go.
Soft feet, sharp knives. No!
Ancient times the desert had no... I watched them day by day, their foolish, meddling scampering to separate one piece of earth from a slightly different piece of earth. Fae know that the land will endure, will heal any wounds mortals can inflict. But I worry that these wounds may be long to heal. I cannot act. I am bound by our beliefs. But an agent of change could cauterize these wounds by making the century plants bloom. Have you met her? Fair and dark as the night itself. She will sleep until my time is past. Then I will lie down and dream while she walks the sands. I shepherd the surface while Orenda sleeps beneath. I await the day when I may lay down to rest as Orenda does, beneath the sands. The mortal's growing influence in this world wearies me.
Normally they blossom only every 100 years. The land stirs and wakens, and what was worn away rejuvenates. That is the way of things. In ages past, we danced in circles on the dunes and sang sweet songs to the distant peaks. Now I alone walk here, while Arenda dreams in reverie below. The little mortals, you mean? Forever cutting, clearing, digging, will they never stop? Won't they tire of it and go away? Oh, I cannot make them bloom, not now. When the time is right, one fey whisper will do. You mortals are not bound as we are. You can grow such things out of season. You wouldn't know with these little mortals here, but these lands are a fey place. And fey places need refreshing from time to time. The blooming of the century plants is the fastest route of recovery. The century plants have deep ties to the pulse and marrow of the land. Their breath wakens the desert, causes the rocks to stir and grow. A friend of the sands, you'll do what needs doing. You will need petrichor. Here's a skinful I have gathered. But first, you must ready the plant with fire. Only after fire will they drink the petrichor. There are 3 century plants in this land just now. Make all 3 bloom, and all will be well. The smell of the earth after rain. I have gathered it over years in that skin. For each of the 3 upon the sands, scorch it with fire, then slake it with the petrichor I gave you. Farewell.
What is it?
What is it?
You are my contact. I should have known. Punctuality is not one of your people's strengths, and you have so few. Edessa is the greatest bastion of knowledge and understanding in the world. Alfar have their arts, mankind has its gods, but our only commandments are the solid, predictable laws of natural science. His knowledge is invaluable, and must not fall into the wrong hands. And I'm terribly worried about his safety too, of course. That goes without saying. As Templar, the Forum demands that I do everything in my power to advance our knowledge. It is a tremendous responsibility, and one I take quite seriously. Fomerus Hughes is one of my most brilliant scholars, and as you know, his research shows tremendous potential. His recovery is of paramount importance. My fellow Templars and I sponsor research that will lead to the betterment of all mortals. Sadly, Alfar and man alike often have trouble accepting the reason behind our decisions. But most gnomes realize we have their best interests in mind. You may recall our mutual friend, Fomerus Hughes. The gnome who brought you back to life? I suspect you would, but I gather you've been quite busy. Well, Scholar Hughes has been missing since the attack on his tower. As his patron, I am quite concerned. I want you to find him. You are, how shall I say, uniquely suited to the task. I could ask the same question. For all I know, Fomerus Hughes is on the run from you. I am willing to assume that's not the case. Simply put, you may be my only chance of locating Hughes, just as I may be yours. Don't be obtuse. I am his patron. As such, I own everything that Scholar Hughes produces. I suppose that includes you as well. The secrets in his laboratories are meant for gnome eyes only. They must be controlled at any cost. It would seem the incident in Alistar made Scholar Hughes a touch paranoid. Every time we receive a clue about his location, he vanishes before I can reach him. But he's running out of places to hide. It's my opinion that there's one hope left of finding Hughes. You. I'm grateful. Scholar Hughes is quite fortunate to have friends like us. Hughes has an old laboratory in the cavern of Saltwell mines. I believe he's been conducting research there since the destruction of Alistar Tower. Find him, and you will be rewarded for your contribution to science. I will await your success in the Librarium in Edessa. He may have returned to his old laboratory in Saltwell mines, but if any of my people approach, he'll flee. He's quite paranoid, for good reason.
What is it?
Greetings.
It is good to see you again. Farewell.
Welcome back. What can I do for you? Safe travels.
Greetings.
Have I been down here so long? Is the madness so great that I see the faces of the damned before me? Or is it really you? It is! By the tomb! Come closer. Let me look at you. It has been an eternity since I've seen a trusted face. Are you? In many ways, your awakening has brought me nothing but misery. But that is not your fault. I am to blame for all of it. Wait, do you hear that sound? It could be the Sons of Laz, but it could be someone else.
Nero!
First Tuatha, then a sat. The last we spoke, it was the Tuatha that reduced my lad to cinders. Now it's assassins. Everywhere I go, destruction follows. I have grown so weary of it, my friend. All I ever wanted was to unlock death's secrets, to shed light on the shadows. I never wanted this. Thank you for more than just your protection, for being the one good thing to come of this disaster. I have few friends, but I gladly count you among them. You must be mistaken. I've tried to contact him ever since I fled Alistar, but he never replied. Until now. Octien. Of course. When all the facts are considered, the truth will emerge. Ah, I am a fool! Octien has sent you to search for me. To have us killed together. Those assassins are proof of this. The Well of Souls is his project. Once it was functioning, he no longer needed me. Not if he could salvage the well in Alistar with Ventrinio's help. Ventrinio de Cellini. We used to work together in this lab on projects sponsored by Templar Octien. But when we were tasked with creating the well, Ventrinio sought to use any means at our disposal, regardless of the implications or consequences. Eventually, he was taken away, and I was sent to work at Alistar. But it seems he continued his work here, long enough to create those monsters. They are the animated dead, early experiments in the field of immortality. They will forever haunt these cursed caverns. Ventrinio named them after a mythical figure who rose from the dead. He looked on them and saw potential. I see only abominations. No, not me. But Ventrinio's old notes suggest that he may know a way into Alabastra. I wonder, perhaps, is it possible that you have met Ventrinio already? That would explain it. You were attuned to his well, but raised from mine. Unfortunately, the only way to find Ventrinio is to go through Templar Octien, which will not be easy now that we know of his treachery. Never. The only voice he wishes to hear is his own. We cannot deal with Octien within the boundaries of Edessa. Not alone. There is one who has the power to discredit him. Templar Joriel. She is reputed for her wisdom and strength of character. And as I recall, she and Octien do not exactly see eye to eye on matters of policy. If Joriel can make Octien answer for his crimes, then we will gain access to his information. That includes the location of Ventrinio's lab. If you wish to uncover the mystery of your death, then you will need Ventrinio. He is the key to Alabastra. Find Templar Joriel in Edessa. We don't have much evidence, but I have a feeling she will help us. Ah, Edessa. The great gnomish city-state. Knowledge, reason, and logic rule there, as do bureaucracy and intrigue. A clever gnome can go far in that city, and a wise gnome goes far away from it. It's everything I've been able to put together concerning Templar Octien's crimes, with supporting evidence from Ventrinio's notes and correspondence. I always suspected I might need leverage over Octien. It seems Ventrinio felt the same. You must remember to thank him for me. I am Fomerus Hughes, scholar of vivification, prime circle. The Well of Souls was my life's work. I knew Octien was more interested in my research than he was in my well-being, but I didn't expect him to send assassins. At least not so soon. Now that he has the well and Ventrinio, he'll have access to eternal life all for himself. And who knows what other magical protections he's collected over the decades. He thinks he's won, but we know his dirty little secrets. And believe it or not, that means we've got the real power. The Templars rule from the Forum, and you can't get a thing done in the city without the sponsorship of one of them. They can be powerful allies, But the one thing you don't want to do is get on their bad side. My old colleague, Ventrinio Desilini. For a time we worked together under Templar Octien. He was a brilliant scholar, but a terrible person. I told Octien he couldn't be trusted and refused to work with him, but it appears the Templars simply moved him to another lab with some mysterious assistant. Ventrinio's notes reference some highly capable assistants that joined him in testing the well and collecting Prismia, but there's no mention of their identity. Whoever they are, they're clever, resourceful, and very dangerous. If we could find them, we might have a lead, or even a way into Alabastra. Oh, don't call it that. You're just having a talk with Octien in the library. In return for your discretion, he'll give us what we want. I know it's unpleasant, but when you work with the Templars, you just start thinking this way. It helps you stay alive.